Hello peoples. The Ferrari 488 GTB is one of those rare supercars that instantly became a benchmark the moment it was introduced, a machine that did not simply replace its predecessor but redefined what enthusiasts expected from a modern Ferrari. When we begin to talk about the 488 GTB, we are diving into a story that is not just about speed, performance, or prestige, but also about heritage, emotion, and the pursuit of perfection. Ferrari as a brand has always been synonymous with passion, with a relentless desire to create vehicles that are more than machines, vehicles that feel alive, that speak to the driver, that carry with them decades of racing experience, engineering brilliance, and Italian artistry. The 488 GTB was unveiled in 2015, and it carried the immense responsibility of succeeding the Ferrari 458 Italia, which had already earned a legendary status for its naturally aspirated V8 engine and razor-sharp dynamics. Replacing a car as loved as the 458 was not an easy task, but Ferrari knew that in order to evolve, in order to keep pushing the envelope, they had to make bold choices, and so the 488 GTB was born, with a new philosophy, a new heart, and a renewed commitment to excellence. At the center of the Ferrari 488 GTB lies its engine, a 3.9-liter twin-turbocharged V8, and this was a radical departure for Ferrari. For decades, Ferrari's version 8s were naturally aspirated, celebrated for their purity, their high-revving character, and their intoxicating sound. Introducing turbocharging was seen as risky, because purists feared that the magic of a Ferrari V8 might be diluted by forced induction. But Ferrari is Ferrari, and they do not compromise on emotion. The engineers at Maranello designed this engine with such precision that it did not feel like a turbocharged motor at all, but rather like the next natural evolution of Ferrari performance. With 661 horsepower and 561 pound-feet of torque, the 488 GTB offered staggering numbers, capable of launching from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 3 seconds flat, with a top speed exceeding 205 miles per hour. Yet, the true magic of this engine was not just in the numbers, but in the way it delivered power, the immediacy of throttle response, the linearity of acceleration, and the spine-tingling sound that still carried the Ferrari soul despite the presence of turbochargers. Ferrari had managed to engineer out the lag and create a turbocharged V8 that felt naturally aspirated, and in doing so, they silenced the critics and set a new benchmark for performance engines. The name 488 GTB itself carries significance. The 488 represents the individual cylinder capacity of the engine, which is 488 cubic centimeters per cylinder, a nod to Ferrari's long tradition of naming cars after their engineering. The GTB stands for Gran Turismo Berlinetta, a title that evokes Ferrari's history of building grand touring sports coupes that balance performance with usability, race-bred technology with everyday drivability. The Berlinetta body style has always been a Ferrari icon, and the 488 GTB carried that legacy forward with a design that was both aggressive and elegant, sculpted for performance but also unmistakably Italian in its artistry. The exterior of the 488 GTB is a masterclass in aerodynamics and beauty. Ferrari's design team, working alongside their aerodynamicists, created a car that looks stunning from every angle, but every curve, every vent, every crease serves a purpose. The front of the car features a distinctive dual grille opening with a pronounced central splitter that channels air efficiently, reducing drag and generating downforce. The sculpted side intakes are not just aesthetic, they are functional, feeding the twin-turbo V8 with air while also cooling the engine bay. Perhaps the most iconic design detail is the scalloped side air intake, which pays homage to the Ferrari 308 GTB of the 1970s, blending heritage with modernity. The rear of the car is equally striking, with quad taillights, a large diffuser, and subtle aerodynamic elements that balance the car's downforce perfectly at high speeds. The entire car is shaped by the wind, yet it is never over-designed. It remains a pure, timeless Ferrari form that is instantly recognizable, elegant yet aggressive, futuristic yet rooted in tradition. Inside the Ferrari 488 GTB, the focus is entirely on the driver. The cockpit is designed around a philosophy Ferrari calls the hands on the wheel, eyes on the road approach. Almost every major control, from the indicators to the engine start button to the Manettino driving mode switch, is located directly on the steering wheel, just like in Ferrari's Formula One cars. This setup immerses the driver into a racing-inspired environment where every command is intuitive and immediate. The seats are sculpted for both comfort and support, offering the ability to enjoy long drives while also keeping the driver secure during aggressive cornering. The materials inside are a blend of fine Italian leather, Alcantara, and exposed carbon fiber, creating a cabin that feels luxurious yet purposeful. The infotainment system, while secondary in a car like this, offers connectivity and convenience, but the truth is that when you are behind the wheel of a Ferrari 488 GTB, you are not thinking about touchscreen menus or playlists. You are focused on the road, the sound of the V8 behind you, and the sensation of being in one of the greatest driver's cars of its time. Driving the 488 GTB is where the magic truly comes alive. Ferrari engineered the chassis, suspension, and electronic systems to work in harmony, delivering a driving experience that is both accessible and thrilling. The car uses Ferrari's side-slip control system, which allows drivers to explore the limits of grip and even enjoy controlled oversteer with confidence, as the electronics intervene seamlessly to keep everything in balance. The steering is incredibly precise, offering a level of feedback that makes the driver feel connected to the road in a way that few other cars can replicate. The adaptive suspension absorbs bumps without compromising control, making the 488 GTB surprisingly usable even on imperfect roads. The braking system, derived from Ferrari's Formula One experience, offers immense stopping power with perfect modulation. It is a car that feels alive in your hands, sharp and responsive, yet never intimidating. It invites you to push harder, to explore more, to trust it, and in return, it rewards you with an experience that borders on the addictive. The Ferrari 488 GTB was not just about road performance, it was also developed with the track in mind. Ferrari knew that many of its customers would take their cars to circuit days, so the 488 GTB was designed to be as competent on the track as it was thrilling on the street. The aerodynamic efficiency, the balance of downforce, the power delivery, the cooling systems, all were engineered with racing DNA. This dual nature of the 488 GTB made it incredibly versatile. On one hand, you could drive it comfortably through city streets, enjoying the refinement and the prestige it carries. On the other hand, you could unleash it on a racetrack, pushing it to its limits, and feel like a professional racer, confident that the car could handle everything you demanded of it. Few cars manage this balance as well as the 488 GTB, and that is why it has been celebrated by critics and enthusiasts alike. The introduction of the Ferrari 488 GTB also represented Ferrari's transition into a new era, one where turbocharging was embraced not only for performance but also for efficiency and emissions. The world was changing, and even Ferrari had to adapt, but they did so in a way that preserved the essence of what makes a Ferrari special. This balance between tradition and innovation is what makes the 488 GTB such a significant car in Ferrari's history. It is not merely a successor to the 458 Italia, it is a symbol of Ferrari's ability to evolve without losing its soul. Beyond the performance and the engineering, the Ferrari 488 GTB carries with it something less tangible but equally important: emotion. Driving a Ferrari is not just about numbers, it is about how it makes you feel. The moment you sit behind the wheel, the moment you press that red start button and the engine roars to life, you are part of something greater. You are part of Ferrari's heritage, of decades of victories at Le Mans, Formula One championships, and an unbroken line of passion-fueled innovation. The 488 GTB captures this essence perfectly. It makes the driver feel special, it creates memories, it turns every drive into an event. That is the true magic of Ferrari, and the 488 GTB embodies it completely. Over the years, the 488 GTB spawned variations and evolutions, including the track-focused 488 Pista, which took performance to an even higher level with more power, less weight, and even more aggressive aerodynamics. The 488 Spider brought open-top driving to the equation, allowing drivers to enjoy the V8 soundtrack in the open air. Each of these variations built upon the solid foundation of the 488 GTB, further cementing its reputation as one of the greatest supercars of its era. Collectors, enthusiasts, and drivers across the world have celebrated this car not only for what it delivers on paper but for how it makes them feel behind the wheel. When we look at the legacy of the Ferrari 488 GTB, we see a car that successfully bridged the gap between Ferrari's naturally aspirated past and its turbocharged future. It proved that change does not mean compromise, that innovation can coexist with tradition, and that Ferrari's identity is strong enough to adapt without losing its magic. Even today, as Ferrari moves into the era of hybridization with models like the SF90 Stradale, the spirit of the 488 GTB lives on. It was a pivotal moment in Ferrari's story, a car that will be remembered not only for its performance but for the way it captured the essence of Ferrari in a new era. The Ferrari 488 GTB is more than just a car. It is a masterpiece of engineering, a sculpture of speed and beauty, a vessel of passion, and a reminder that when Ferrari builds a car, it is not just about going fast, it is about creating something timeless. To own or even to drive a 488 GTB is to experience a piece of art that moves, breathes, and connects to the very soul of driving. It is a car that does not just exist in the present, it carries with it the weight of history and the promise of the future. This is what makes it so special, so revered, and so unforgettable. When you think about the driving experience of the Ferrari 488 GTB, you cannot help but appreciate how Ferrari engineered the balance between raw power and precise control. One of the most striking aspects of the car is how easy it is to drive fast. This is a supercar with over 660 horsepower, capable of blistering acceleration and mind-bending top speeds, yet Ferrari designed it so that even a driver who is not a professional racer can enjoy and explore its capabilities. The car communicates with the driver in a way that inspires confidence, and this is something that Ferrari has mastered over decades of motorsport experience. It is not just about providing the fastest lap times, it is about giving the driver a sense of connection, a sense that the car is an extension of their own body, responding instantly to every input. The turbocharged V8 engine deserves further attention because it truly redefined the supercar landscape when it was introduced. Ferrari engineered the twin-scroll turbochargers to eliminate lag, ensuring that the moment you press the accelerator, the engine delivered power instantly. This immediacy is crucial because it preserves the emotional response of the driver. There is no waiting, no hesitation, just a surge of relentless acceleration. The exhaust note, too, was carefully tuned. While naturally aspirated engines have an organic scream at high RPMs, turbocharged engines often sound muted. Ferrari solved this by designing an exhaust system that amplified the natural tones of the V8, creating a sound that was unique, powerful, and unmistakably Ferrari. It was a new kind of music for enthusiasts, a slightly deeper and more aggressive note, but still full of character, still capable of making the hair on the back of your neck stand up. The dual-clutch transmission in the 488 GTB plays a critical role in shaping the driving experience. Gear changes are executed with lightning speed, almost imperceptible in their smoothness, yet so immediate that they add to the drama of acceleration. The gearbox is intuitive, always seeming to know exactly what the driver wants, whether it is holding a gear through a corner or downshifting aggressively under braking. Using the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, the driver feels a direct connection to the car's racing heritage. Every click of the paddle is met with an instant response, a mechanical precision that adds to the thrill of driving. Aerodynamics is another area where the 488 GTB shines. Ferrari spent countless hours in the wind tunnel perfecting the car's shape, not only to reduce drag but to generate significant downforce. The car produces about 50% more downforce than the 458 Italia, and this is achieved without increasing drag, which is a remarkable feat of engineering. Features like the blown spoiler at the rear and the active aerodynamic flaps at the front help manage airflow dynamically, adapting to different driving conditions. At high speeds, the car feels planted, stable, and composed, allowing the driver to push harder with confidence. Yet, despite its aerodynamic efficiency, the 488 GTB never sacrifices beauty. This is a car that proves functionality and aesthetics can coexist in harmony, with every line serving a purpose while also contributing to the car's stunning appearance. What truly elevates the 488 GTB is its ability to blend extremes. On one hand, it is a hardcore supercar capable of demolishing racetracks and delivering spine-crushing performance. On the other hand, it can be a comfortable, usable car for long journeys, with a cabin that provides luxury and refinement. This duality makes it incredibly versatile, appealing to both purists who want a track-capable machine and enthusiasts who want a Ferrari they can drive regularly. It is this balance that makes the 488 GTB one of the most celebrated Ferraris of the modern era. When you compare it to rivals of its time, such as the McLaren 650S or the Lamborghini Huracan, the Ferrari 488 GTB stands out because of its emotional depth. McLaren focused heavily on technical precision, while Lamborghini emphasized dramatic styling and theater. Ferrari, however, found the sweet spot between performance, beauty, and emotional engagement. Driving a 488 GTB is not just about speed, it is about feeling something profound. It is about the way the car talks to you through the steering wheel, the way the engine sings behind your shoulders, the way every journey feels like a special occasion. That emotional connection is what sets Ferrari apart, and the 488 GTB embodies it perfectly. The interior deserves even more attention because it reflects Ferrari's philosophy of putting the driver first. Every control is logically placed, and distractions are minimized. The digital displays provide essential information clearly, while the steering wheel remains the focal point of the experience. The Manettino switch allows the driver to toggle between different driving modes: wet, sport, race, and even settings that allow electronic aids to step back, giving the driver more control. Each mode transforms the personality of the car, from a relatively tame and manageable machine in wet mode to a ferocious beast in race mode, eager to be unleashed. This adaptability ensures that the 488 GTB is not a one-dimensional car but one that can adjust to the driver's mood and the environment. Of course, the Ferrari 488 GTB is not just about the driver. It is also a symbol. To see one on the road is to witness something special, something rare and exclusive. Its presence is undeniable. The low stance, the aggressive front, the muscular haunches, and the iconic prancing horse badge combine to create an aura that commands respect. It is not ostentatious in the way some supercars are. Instead, it carries itself with a kind of refined confidence, like an athlete who knows their worth and does not need to boast. Ferrari's history plays a huge role in the appeal of the 488 GTB. Every Ferrari is a product of decades of racing experience, of victories in Formula One, of legendary cars like the 250 GTO, the F40, the Enzo, and the LaFerrari. The 488 GTB draws from this heritage, blending it with modern technology to create something that feels timeless. When you drive a Ferrari, you are not just driving a car, you are part of a lineage, a story that stretches back to Enzo Ferrari's dream of building the world's greatest sports cars. The 488 GTB continues this legacy, ensuring that the spirit of Ferrari remains alive for a new generation. As we look deeper into the 488 GTB, it becomes clear that it is a car designed to stir the soul. The combination of power, precision, and passion makes it an icon. Enthusiasts often debate which Ferrari is the greatest, and while that may be subjective, the 488 GTB will always be remembered as the car that proved turbocharging could coexist with Ferrari's DNA. It reassured the world that Ferrari would never compromise on emotion, even as technology and regulations forced change. That reassurance is priceless because it demonstrates that Ferrari's identity is unshakable. Thanks to watch.